Hello, Pacers. Coaches, it's fall 2014 Pacers season. Here we go. Me, Harold, figured I'd give a shout out to everybody, get everybody kind of on the same page, as most of you weren't able to make it last week for our Pacers meeting. Small crowd showed up, but that's about usual. Everybody seemed busy and getting ready for the fall, so wanted to go over a couple of quick things. Come on, kitty. Really? At any rate, here's the cat. We'll get this going, make it a little bit short, and hope to look forward to see you guys. Like to get out everybody a little bit early at 4 o'clock. I've got some other helpers and volunteers coming, and we can go over a little bit with what each group definition is and what we do a little bit better so that they can hear this as well, and we can get people paired with coaching staff. First off, I want to thank each one of you for being out here, coming out and giving such a large time commitment to the Run community and the Pacers group. I feel very privileged to be in this role and cannot do it without your unwavering support and commitment to the Run community here. And know that all the parents are going to be thanking you throughout the season. So it's a wonderful thing that we're doing. Biggest issue that I feel that we have is number one on what's in all of our minds, is safety for the kids. Focusing solely on, we count before we leave, we have several people with us, and that we feel safe going out. Having a head count on the kids before, in the middle somewhere, and directly after when we come back, and try to make those numbers aware. If one or two kids leave with one of the parents who are sweeping in the back, make that calculation change so you're not freaking out when the kids already come back several minutes ago. That brings us up to issue number two. Preferably the head coach or a lead person for that day in front of the pack, leading the group of kids. A parent or helper every so many kids in the middle so that we don't have a long line of kids without a parent who's looking up the trail and looking for the next person. Parent or helper who's up the trail. And definitely 1 to 2 sweepers sometimes. One who's known that if a kid gets injured or somehow can't make it back quickly enough, especially in the first couple of weeks where we haven't gotten everybody worked out, that they can go and take back that child or children to our starting location and get whatever assistance they need from the groups who will be there. This year we're going to provide each group with one spy belt to wear, to put a phone in so that we all can give myself a call, and you can put my cell phone number, 919-260-5340, in your phones, and that way you or anybody else running along who has that phone can get in contact with me at any time or situation comes up that something's happened out on the course or things changed. Please don't hesitate to call, and we'll try to get the issue taken care of as quickly as possible. The Purple Pacer bag, most of you know. For those of you who don't, there's a purple bag. It's called the Purple Pacer bag. It has a list of all the children, parents' names, multiple contact information available to us. It is always at wherever the picnic table or center organization is, usually by the drink coolers. And that's always going to be there. We're going to try to get together a coaches list as well with the emails and names of coaches so that we can communicate back and forth if we need to quickly. One of the biggest things we learned last year is there always needs to be a sweeper. And that sweeper needs to know, if they're new to the group, how to communicate with us and what to do when they get back with the child and what their kind of responsibility is. And the second issue, in case that something happens, you know, we are running on trails. We try to be as safe as possible, but things occur. You know, if there's a child that gets injured to the point where you don't think you can bring them back safely or bring them out safely, please just remember, sometimes the best thing we can do is to just stop, assess the situation, take a short amount of time to figure out what's going on with the child, what we can do safely. The quickest extraction point may not be all the way back to Wilson Park. There's lots of roads, lots of communities that are around there that we can get back to quicker in case we can't get the child back. And that's where the calling and phone will definitely help. So make sure if a kid gets injured or one of our parents get injured out on the trail, this happens too, we're stumbly as well. Please take the time to assess the situation and make people as comfortable as possible while we figure out what we're going to get accomplished. We always have kids who bring up breathing issues. This has always been the case. Asthma-induced, exercise-induced asthma always rears its head with 1 or 2, 3 kids every season. Most of the time, if you just have the child slow down, start to walk them back to the camp, you know, Wilson, Sewell, back to headquarters, their breathing gets much better. It's the active exercise that's really starting to hurt them and have them breathing. Usually slowing down, walking, well, they'll begin to feel better in a couple of minutes, and it is very scary for them when this does happen. So really need to watch about being compassionate for that. Just some first things for some of the coaches, some strategies. You definitely want to go slower in the first couple of weeks. Shorter amount of running, little more walking. Slower amount of running. Walking speed is going to be walking speed. Taking time to regroup a little more often as the season rolls on and everybody gets more into gear and a little more into shape. This goes down and it begins to get a little longer and a little faster. And in the first few weeks, we want to make sure that we get the groups scheduled so that we have little dogs, you know, being little dogs, middles, hybrids, big dogs. We need to move kids up so that we don't have 35 in one group and 10 in the big dogs or 12 in the hybrids. Let's move them up. And if the groups need to slow down to coordinate with the larger groups so it's a little more even across, that's a perfectly fine option. You know, accommodating 12 to 17 in the big dogs instead of 10 to 8 in the big dogs is a little more easier because they're usually better geared kids. They understand how to run. They understand the concept of what we're trying to do, more than having 35 kids in middle dogs who many of them don't understand the concept of running and what tasks we're trying to get them to accomplish. Whereas if you have 25 kids, it's a lot easier to deal with that in a middle dog situation. What else do I have? Moving pacers up and down quickly, we got that. And with that, I'd like everybody to show up at 4 o'clock if we can. The first Tuesday, if not, totally understand. Email, call me if something changes in between now and then. Look to see everybody out there on Tuesday. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Bye. Here we go, turning off.